Y'all probably thought I just vanished and disappeared. Nope, still here. First off, I'd like to say I want to thank people that's made the positive comments and shared what they've learned and things that they've picked up over the years and stuff on my Skinner Sound Explained video and all my other videos that I've got posted on here. But to you guys that want to come on and bash me and call me an effing idiot and uneducated and this and that, you're wasting your time, boys. YouTube's no different than Facebook. They're all just a medium. There is no hierarchy. There is no superiority. I'm not superior over anyone else, and nobody's superior over me. So you may as well get over yourselves and save it, because the only thing that's going to happen is I'll either ban you from my channel or I'll report you to YouTube and let them take care of it. We're all big boys and girls here. It's time to grow up. None of you are police. None of you are an expert or authority, and neither am I. It's just like one guy had posted that I needed to put on headphones and listen to Sweet Home Alabama and pan from left to right, in which that's all well and good. You can pick up a lot from that. But Skinner, they used multiple tracks with different stuff on them. And their live versions were different from their studio versions because they couldn't put all those extra tracks on there. A simple song like Gimme 3 Steps. Simple guitar parts, simple everything. There were 6 guitar tracks to it. 6. Didn't need 6. You could have got by with 3 guitar tracks on it. And as simple a boogie song as that is, been fine. But yeah, you can pick up a lot of stuff with the headphones, and I will agree with you. That is a valid point, but for like studio albums, as opposed to live versions, there's a big difference. And like when Gary Rossington says that, here's the arpeggio I played on that. I'm going to take that for real. So that's where I came up with part of that. The rest of it was sitting down, watching the videos, watching what their hands were doing in the live segments, live versions of the songs. So now that we got that out of the way for the Skinner Sound Explained, let's move on. I got my Black Star here, and I was looking on YouTube all over, and I got an Eminence Commonwealth speaker. Now this came with a Celestion 7080 stock. Great speaker. I mean, Celestion makes awesome speakers, hands down. I was a big fan of them before I got this amp. But I noticed a lot of the venues that my band, the Big Whiskey Band that we play, we're not mic'd. And we're cranking and doing it old school, the way we used to do it back in the day. And I noticed that Celestion, at the higher volumes, I didn't have the overdrive and I didn't have the clarity. It was like it was choking out. Now that's an 80 watt speaker, and this is a 60 watt amp, my little Black Star. Now what that translates into is anytime you've got a speaker hooked up to an amplifier, if you've got a 100 watt amp, if you want to get the best clarity and hear everything that's going on, you want to have at least twice your output power for handling power of the speaker. So if you got a 100 watt head, you want at least 200 watts of speaker handling ability. So with this being a single speaker, sure, I could have put 2 of them in a 212 and I'd have had 160 watts, taken 60 watts out of this amp, and I'd have had a lot better clarity. But the speaker itself, it just, with the volume and everything, it wasn't that great. So, and I've always been a big fan of JBLs. Back in the day, that's all I played. But you can't, unless you go on eBay or something and pick up a used JBL, you're going to pay a premium price for a used JBL. You got no guarantee what kind of shape it's in. If the voice coil's been banged, speaker's been banged around, the voice coil's been shaken and damaged or what have you, you're just taking the seller's word for it, and you guys know what that means. And I got to looking, and this Eminence Commonwealth is as close to a JBL as I've ever found. And I've even been looking up some of the reviews, and the diehard JBL guys from back in the day, like me, they won't use a JBL, they go to these. And if memory serves me, I probably should have looked it up before I did this, but I think that has 250 watts handling power, just the single speaker. So I've really upped my headroom, clean headroom, and it's made a huge difference in this amp. I mean, now most of the videos they show on here on YouTube, they're clean. They're showing the clean sound. Got a beautiful ring to it, and you can throw a little bit of I don't really have the volume on that cranked up, but in that last mode, if I'd crank the volume up, it'd get a crunch to it, and that's on the clean channel. Starts with the volume, everything starts rattling, so. But that's the clean channel. But no one had done anything for the dirty channel. They hadn't done anything with any kind of overdrive to it. So I figured I'd go ahead and do that. I've got the gain just a hair above half on that, and then you can throw in a pedal if you really want to get into higher as you can see, that is a killer dirty speaker. And I'm sure, I mean, crank the gain up more and set it more for your own liking, however you do it and stuff. But that puppy will handle whatever you throw on it, even as a 112. And like I say, a lot of my bands, shows that we play, they're actually decent sized venues, bigger than most of your bars, and we do a lot of outdoor show, and I just crank it up. And I don't even worry about throwing a mic in front of it, because it just sings, and it just has a throw that I love. But if you're always wanting a JBL speaker, and now that it's hard to find them, look up the Eminence Commonwealth. It's a killer speaker, and it's made directly after JBL specs. It's got the 4-inch aluminum voice coil, and it's even got the little silver cone cap, dust cap, just like the old JBLs did. So, you Skinner freaks, right there, there's your Skinner, because you can... Especially when I was doing that, you can hear the clarity in it, and that's the clarity I'm talking about. It's not the, doesn't have that chunky, you know, real heavily over. I mean, that's not a great amount of overdrive. I mean, I love to play with a lot of overdrive, but like when you get it up to about 3/4. And then it'll clean. But I like to keep it back just a hair above half, so that when I want the even, you know, the heavier stuff, but you can do the now I've got the amp turned down a little bit because on the stand it's basically aimed directly at the mic pickup on the camera, so that way it's not just rah, blowing everything out. But you know, it's a killer speaker, and I love the way it pairs up with this amp. You know, that was mic'd. That'd be a perfect miking volume for right there. You can still. And with my own home-built 59 replica that I built last year, which you guys saw the video of it. This is it now, and as you can see, it's that aniline dye's fading out on it. And I changed the pickup. I had a DiMarzio Super Distortion in it, but I pulled the ceramic magnet out of it and put an Alnico 5 magnet in it to kind of depower it a little bit, because it was just way too much output for what I wanted, but I wanted a heavier, hotter sound, so I thought that would make a good balance between the two, and it did, but it was still too much. If you're looking for just a good, straight-up PAF, DiMarzio 36th anniversary. That is an awesome, awesome pickup. I love it. And I don't really have it up that high, whereas what a lot of guys would. Just, you know, personal preference. But it can do anything you want to do. I haven't put a new nut on it about maybe 3 weeks ago. Thought I'd try a Graphtec nut. I had a bone nut on it. Thought, well, I'll try one of the Graphtecs, and still got a little bit more filing to do on it because it still kind of loses its tune a little bit. And that's another tip. If you get the Graphtecs and you're like, wow, how come I'm going out of tune? You got to get them filed a little bit and get them opened up to just the right spot, and then you won't have any problems. But if you're in the market for a new speaker, or you want something where you can really get good clarity, clean and dirty, Eminence Commonwealth, to me, that's the only way to go. I love mine. I wouldn't trade it. It and this Black Star, they do me for what I want to do. And I can run the clean channel and have a whole array of pedals and do whatever I want to do with it. So, and the dirty channel is equally good. It even has that's the classic side, and then here's the that's the higher gain side with just the push of a button. Because it only has two preamp tubes, two 12AX7s, one for the clean, or at least half of one side for the clean, and then 1.5 for the other, the dirty, or however they've got it set up. I haven't sat down and read the schematic on it, but it's easy to retube. 2 power tubes, 2 preamp tubes, so I ain't breaking the bank on retubing it, and then getting that Eminence Commonwealth, which it's a solid speaker, so for money wise, but it's worth it to me, because it's just opened this amp completely up on me from what it used to be, because you'd have to really sit down and listen to this amp with the Celestian in it and listen to it with the Eminence to really see or hear what the difference is in it. It's just, that's a hell of a speaker, and I love it. So, there you go. If you've been looking at the Eminence Commonwealth, but you couldn't find anything with how it sounds dirty, I figured I'd go ahead and do this up so that way everybody can hear how it sounds dirty with some crunch to it. If you want to throw a phaser on it, the MXR, do a little Gary Ross thing. You can do whatever you want. I run my reverb up pretty high, so you're probably, I don't know if it's getting very much washback to the mic on the camera or not, but this is it. I love it. So there you go.